and welcome to the news today on Social Radio and Television. I am Evelyn Clifford Harry. Here are the major headlines. Corporate Nigeria shuts down Lagos for Wigwe. Approach Zimbabwe for solution to inflation, Obasanjo tells federal government. Kaduna Governor's Aid amplifies climate campaign in schools to strengthen climate actions. 358 athletes to represent Nigeria in 25 sports. US slaps fresh sanctions on President Mnangagwa and other leaders. And now the news in full. Corporate Nigeria and some political titans turned up to celebrate the life and times of the late Chief Executive Officer of Access Corporation PLC, Herbert Wigwe, who all of them described as a titan. In an emotion-laden night of tributes with touching memories, dignitaries from the public and private sectors, led by Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, governors of Lagos and Ogun State, Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN Governor, and Bank Chief Executive sang praises of the late bank chief. Wigwe, 57 years old, who was also MD CEO Access Bank PLC, died in a helicopter crash in the United States on February 9, 2024, alongside his wife, Chizoba Wigwe, his son, Chizi Wigwe, and former President, Nigeria Exchange, Mr. Abimbola Ogunbanjo. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has advised that Nigeria should approach the government of Zimbabwe for a solution to the current all-time high inflation in the country. He noted that since Zimbabwe was recently confronted with the same problem and came out of it, the Southern African country will have useful advice for Nigeria. In its latest release, the National Bureau of Statistics puts Nigeria's inflation at 29.9%. The country is currently grappling with high cost of living, with pockets of protests breaking out across the country as Nigerians contend with increasing prices of foodstuff. The special advisor on climate change to the executive governor of Kaduna State, Honorable Yusuf Idris Amoke, have stressed the importance of educating students on issues related to global warming and methods to mitigate environmental degradation. He highlights the significant role climate education plays in raising awareness among students about coexisting with plants and animals in their environment. Furthermore, he advocates for the presence of trees in all schools to combat erosion and other forms of environmental degradation, calling for the establishment of green clubs in all schools across the 23 local government area in the state. On the sport news, the Nigeria Olympics Committee, NOC, says that Nigeria will be represented by no fewer than 358 athletes in 25 sports at the 13th African Games. Tony Ezenya, the public relations officer of NOC, stated this in a statement in Lagos. He says that the games will be held from March 8 to 23 in Accra, Kumasi, and Cape Coast. Nigeria is competing in 25 sports at the event. Nigerian athletes were accredited at the delegation registration meeting conducted on March 4th. And on the international news, the U.S. has imposed sanctions on Zimbabwe's president, Emmerson Mnangagwa, for corruption and human rights abuses. The order also affects other senior leaders in the country, blocking their assets in the U.S. and barring them from unofficial travel there. The new sanction replaced a broader program that was introduced 2 decades ago. The U.S. Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, meanwhile cited multiple cases of abduction, physical abuse, and unlawful killing in Zimbabwe that had left people living in fear. A spokesman for the Zimbabwean government, Nick Mnangagwa described the lifting of the old sanctions program as a great vindication of President Mnangagwa's foreign policy and called the new tariffs illegal. Up next is the entertainment news with Samuel Oduga.
Thank you very much, Evelyn. And now on the entertainment scene, Nollywood actor and director Charles Onoji has described the death of his colleague John Okafor, aka Mr. Ibu, as an irreplaceable loss to Nigeria, the Nigerian movie industry. He stated that the late comic actor is irreplaceable in Nollywood, stressing that casting him alone was enough to make a movie a blockbuster. Speaking in a written interview, Onoji said, "There's sometimes you lose a person in an industry and you say, well, so or so person would be replaced him. But Mr. Ibu is irreplaceable. Mr. Ibu spares with every part of his body. He is probably one of the few people in Africa that will sit without saying anything, would communicate a million messages with his facial expression, body language, gestures without verbalizing just one word, dramatic dialogue that doesn't come cheap. We are going to miss him." That's that about the entertainment news, and now over to you, Evelyn.
Here's a recap of the news headline. Corporate Nigeria shuts down Lagos for Wigwe. Approach Zimbabwe for solution to inflation, Obasanjo tells federal government. Kaduna Governor's Aide amplifies climate campaign in schools to strengthen climate action. 358 athletes represent Nigeria in 25 sports. US slaps fresh sanctions on President Mnangagwa and other leaders. And with that, we end the news today on Procion Radio and Television. I am Evelyn Clifford Harry. You can watch us on our YouTube channel at Procion RTV. You can also get the latest news on our website at www.procionnews.com. Do not forget to also like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production crew, thank you for watching. Keep shining like the star you are.